There were a bunch of others, many of whom you know. All of this is wonderful. In your life, what is your greatest regret?
Oh. You know, I really don't have regrets. I am a person that says, you know, as soon as you look back in your history and you come up with something that you feel like you want to change, something else has to change. You know, so
What about your biggest disappointment?
once again, that's the same analogy. You know, disappointment to me, to win, you got to lose. To be successful, you got to have something that's not successful. To be happy, you got to have disappointment. So I think all of those things have evolved and happened to make me who I am and understand the benefits and the privileges I have for being who I am, you know, and not to wear it on my sleeve, be very humble about it. That's one thing my parents taught me very well is, you know, don't wear your reputation, don't wear your accolades, don't wear your, you know, your personality on your sleeve. Let it happen, let it be you. It is who you are. Don't hide from it, but don't wear it and rub it in people's faces. So, you know, when you sit there and you say, well, you know, in 1990 or 2005, they voted me as like the best or the most popular athlete, you know, well, it's ironic that I'm the youngest of the three. So in essence, it's all relevated on who is watching now. If you ask 20 years from now, I'm pretty sure LeBron may beat me, you know, based on who's going to be making the voting. So I say that to understand that, you know, it is what it is. You know, I don't wear it. I don't showcase it. I don't rub it in other people's faces. Someone else's opinion. If you ask me, I could never give you an opinion about things like that because as an athlete, all you want to do is be the best athlete you can be.
When there is his hometown, or is the city not an issue? It's what are the criteria upon which they hope they get drafted by a certain team?
Well, I mean, I think that's a little bit hard to determine because you in a professional league of multiple teams. And when I say a league, you want to be able to have competitive balance within the league. And if a player or an individual can choose based on the city to go to whatever respective team that he wants, you may have, you know, you're going to have some discrepancy in terms of the talent pool and the competitive nature of it. So if everybody wants to go to Chicago, you only can have 12 jobs in Chicago. Chicago going to get all the best players. What about Dallas? What about Washington? What about these other cities? Detroit, you know, Indiana, where they may not be metropolis of cities, but they still have passion for the game of basketball. And you're starting to see a little bit of it now to where all the stars are starting to gang up and go on one team. I think it's going to hurt the overall aspect of the league from a competitive standpoint. And you're going to have just one or two teams that's going to be great, and then the other 28 teams are going to be garbage. Or they're going to have a tough time surviving in the business environment.
So what role
Seems to be very innocent can be always being misinterpreted.
in the conversation of 5-10 years ago was always who's greater, who's going to be the greatest, him or Jack, and that conversation is pretty much over to most people.
I beg to differ, and I'll give a different analogy to that because, first of all, you're never going to say who's the greatest of all time. To me, I think that's more for PR and more for selling stories and getting hype. Jack and Tiger never played against each other. They never played in the same tournament. They never played with the same equipment. They never played with the same, you know, length of golf course. I never played against Will Chamberlain. I never played against, you know, Jerry West. To now say that, you know, one's greater than the other is being a little bit, you know, unfair. You know, I think when you can see the similarities and you understand, this is one way you can judge the two. How much impact did each change or evolve the game? Jack during his time when he played, but Tiger during his time. Now, you know, obviously Jack won more during the time he played. Tiger evolved it to where it was, you know, it crossed a lot of different boundaries, where it's not just a white guy's sport. You know, the black guys, Afro-Americans, you know, all the minorities play the game. And you play it at a level to where it generated so much interest financially that it grew the game from a financial standpoint. Now, does that constitute him being the greatest, or does that mean he's any less than Jack? I think is unfair. Yeah, Jack probably has 18 more majors, 18 majors, and Tiger's got 14. And I think those are when, that's how people are judging certain things. I won 6 championships. Bill Russell won 11. Does that make Bill Russell better than me and make me better than him? No, because we play at different eras. So when you try to equate who's the greatest of all time, it's an unfair parallel. It's an unfair choice. And I think, those are the demons that, obviously Tiger had to live with, and he's going to be challenged and he's going to be graded upon that. But for me, I think they're both great. I would never say one is greater than the other. That's me. That's my opinion.
Okay. I wasn't suggesting one was. I was just asking your thoughts.
Yeah, well, that's my thoughts.
Moving from basketball to Derek Jeter, doesn't he stay with you?
Yeah.
I mean, because I saw him one
He's
day
like my
years
little
ago,
brother.
and I said, "Where are you staying?" He said, "I'm staying with Michael."
No,
So-
we hang out a lot. We spend.
And then a few weeks ago, I saw your name mentioned as an investor in the Marlins.
yeah,
So, what motivates? Is it strictly friendship or a business or?
both.
Or you love baseball?
I
or-
love baseball. My love for baseball, and it's not final. Obviously,
Yeah.
they got to go through the approval state of his ownership. And when he came to me about getting involved, I said, "Look, I would support you in whatever way. I have my own businesses. I have the Hornets. I have the Jordan brand. I would support you in whatever way you want me to support you." I think he's motivated to build a baseball franchise that can be successful. That is who he is. That's the way he lived his life. It's very resemblant. It resembles everything that I tried to do from a basketball sense. He's trying to do from a baseball sense. I can only congratulate. I can only support. I think he's going to do a great job. I think he's going to roll up his sleeves. He's going to dive in. He's going to try to do the best that he can in terms of reconnecting it back to the city of Miami and blah, blah, blah. I don't know how I could, be a part of it, but I am a part from afar and from a support standpoint.
Well, in some ways.
But I love the game of baseball.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Right, and in some ways, you now are on almost identical paths as
Yeah.
owners with a team that needs to step up its game.
Yes. And the thing that I can provide for him is for my team, to be able to lend him advice and give him some insights in terms of what we did in Charlotte, and to reconnect and to turn things around to where it's a more successful franchise.
You talk about teaching. Have you ever been a coach?
No,
Did you ever want to be a coach?
no. I have no patience for coaching. My biggest problem from a competitive standpoint is the focus of today's athlete and the focus of where I saw the game, how I pursued the game. It changes and it's totally different. So to me, for me to ask an individual to focus on the game the way I played the game, in some ways would be, unfair for that kid to have to endure that. And if he didn't do it, no telling where my emotions would be. I don't think I would have the patience for it. So in essence, coaching is something that I've never really felt I could do from an emotional standpoint because I'm much different and I have a different perception about things than what the kids do today.
Because it's a cigar magazine, and because I'm trying to reach out to what my reader would want to know about you, I'm sure they would all like to know, you said you smoke 6 cigars a day.
Sure.
What do you smoke? What are your favorite
My
cigars?
favorite?
Yeah.
Partagas Lusitanians is my favorite. And that's,
So you like a big cigar?
I like a big cigar, but I don't, I can smoke a small cigar too. I like variety. I like to, at least experiment on different types of levels in terms of cigars.
Why don't we go, this one, it's this is...
I'm not giving this up. You want to try something else?
No, I want to go the pre-cash
Okay,
show
I'll go with
just because the draws will...
But nothing wrong with this draw.
No.
It's just that you got me talking so much I can't smoke the cigar.
Well, I want to apologize.
Okay, no problem.
I don't want to leave without having this cigar. So, and I
I
don't
was
want
hoping you forget.
no, and I
There's
don't want
more
you.
for me.
I don't want you taking home the box, and I don't open these that often.
Oh, this is gonna be great. This is the best part about this whole process. Is the cigars that you had to come up with.